With both the PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Games with Gold game offerings released for February, in today's video we'll be comparing both services' offerings and deciding on which one is better. I think this month is as clear-cut as you're gonna get, but we'll look at both services' offerings nonetheless, so let's get right into it, and as always we'll start off with the PlayStation Plus games. I think PlayStation Plus is doing a very good job with February. January was a rather lackluster month, but they are turning the tide in February, offering 2 marquee PlayStation 4 titles and 2 pretty interesting PlayStation 4 games that are cross-buy with the PlayStation Vita, so you are getting a total of 4 games. First up, you are getting the Ubisoft multiplayer game in For Honor. For Honor is a game that's been received a little bit mixed, especially initially. However, the game is one of those titles that Ubisoft has stayed committed to and continued to make better and better. Just recently, we had the release of the Marching Fire expansion. Unfortunately, that will not be included in this edition of the game. You are just getting the base game. However, the base For Honor game is still rather good, and if you don't know what the game is, it's a third-person melee combat game. So unlike a lot of multiplayer games that really go that shooter route, maybe you played a lot of MOBAs, this is a little different, and I can definitely give it credit for that. Visually, it looks great, and given that this is a multiplayer game and the best experience is to play with a couple friends, because it's a PlayStation Plus game, it's going to be a really easy sell to all your friends. That's why I love seeing multiplayer games as a PlayStation Plus title. And hey, this is a great promotional tool if Ubisoft does want to sell you Marching Fire as well, so I think this is a great selection as a PlayStation Plus game. It does have a 78 on Metacritic, but bear in mind that that score was given when the game was originally released. Honestly, the score probably should be revised. What should it be scored at now? I don't think I'm at a place to really answer that, but Marching Fire was received pretty well. The base game is being received pretty well. So as a Plus title, I think this is pretty great. Moving on from that, so you have one multiplayer marquee title, but they are also giving you a marquee single-player game in Hitman the Complete First Season. Now, this Hitman game was released all the way back in 2016. The issue with it was it had an episodic release pattern, which was very unusual for a Hitman game and really pushed a lot of people away from checking this game out. However, the game itself was very good and it had all those fundamentals that you know and love from Hitman. And at this point, yes, Hitman 2 has been released. However, that game is still going for like $29.99 or $39.99, even on sale. Its regular price is $59.99, so I can see why you'd be pushed away from that. And just because a lot of people were disinterested in Hitman following the release of the episodic game, I think this is a way to really reignite interest in Hitman and to also promote Hitman 2. And God knows that game needs a promotion. It isn't seemingly doing all too well from a sales standpoint. So great to see Hitman the Complete First Season offered as a Plus title. I love to see a marquee single player game along with a quality multiplayer game, and that's really what you're getting out of February's offerings. So I think they absolutely nailed that as far as the top 2 games. And usually the top 2 games would be centered around you'd get one AAA game and then one game that's more of an indie experience. With this lineup, you're getting 2 marquee games, so that is a win in my book. But also, you're getting a couple of PlayStation Vita games that are fully playable on the PlayStation 4 thanks to cross-buy. First up, we have Gunhouse. Gunhouse has you protect your valuable orphans, defeat giant improbable bosses. Gunhouse is part puzzle, part active tower defense, as you make big combos to launch a hail of bullets and special attacks at the alien invaders who would like nothing better than to consume your delicious orphan friends. It's a charming game, it's a little bit silly, however, it's got a great visual style as well, so as an additional game to round out the lineup, I think it's a good offering. And also, you'll get another PlayStation Vita PS4 cross-buy title in Rogue Aces. Rogue Aces features procedurally generated gameplay that has you join the Rogue Aces and liberate the islands from the Baron and his dreaded pilots. Will you be able to face the fiercest of foes with only 1 life and 3 planets? This is another game with a very old school look to it. It's got a 72 on Metacritic, which I would say is pretty good. It's a little bit of a challenging hidden arcade gem, so another title to check out. Okay, so those are all of the PlayStation Plus offerings for PlayStation 4 owners. Metal Gear Solid 4 was also offered, but of course that's a PS3 title, so we won't count it in the official list. Moving on from that, Xbox Live Games with Gold has a pretty good lineup, all things considered, and highlighting the lineup is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Now this is of course leading up to the official Bloodstained game that is being done by Keiji Inafune, and that game is shaping up really nicely. Curse of the Moon is a little bit smaller of an experience, so it's not expansive. However, it still offers great gameplay, and it's a great homage to those old school Castlevania titles. I don't know if this is that high quality game you want to be highlighting a gold lineup, but as a game, it's very good. Just a little bit of a disappointment as one of the Xbox One titles when PlayStation 4 users are getting 2 marquee titles in For Honor and Hitman. But Bloodstained Curse of the Moon does have an 81 on Metacritic. So what else are you getting on the Xbox One? You are getting Super Bomberman R. Super Bomberman R is the latest in the Bomberman franchise, an action game in which players move through a 2-dimensional grid environment and must trap and drop bombs to defeat their opponents. The game features a story mode spanning 50 stages and supports cooperative gameplay for 2 players. There's also an 8-player competitive multiplayer mode, so there's quite a bit to do in the game. However, it hasn't been received all too well, currently sitting at a 63 on Metacritic. And once again, with these two being the Xbox One games in Bloodstained Curse of the Moon and Super Bomberman R, while Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is a very well-received game and a very good game, you don't have that marquee title really highlighting the lineup for the Xbox One titles, so that is a little bit disappointing. I think this is going to be a common occurrence when Game Pass is getting a lot of those games, and you don't want to regurgitate the same games on both services because you want people to be subscribed to both Gold and Game Pass. So I understand where Microsoft is coming from. They have to be a little bit more selective with their options, but still would have liked a couple better titles as far as the X1 games go. However, things are really remedied when you take a look at the Xbox 360 and original Xbox titles. And of course, these are fully playable on the Xbox One thanks to backwards compatibility. First, as a 360 game, you will get Assassin's Creed Rogue. Now, unfortunately, this is the 360 version of Rogue. Rogue was also released on the Xbox One. However, Rogue was a great game. It was released the same year as Assassin's Creed Unity, I believe 2014, and the majority of people played Assassin's Creed Unity because it was the current gen game, and then Assassin's Creed Rogue was the last gen game. AC Unity was an absolute train wreck, and AC Rogue actually turned out to be a great game reminiscent of Assassin's Creed 4, which I've often said is my favorite game in the AC franchise. So obviously I think very highly of AC Rogue. It's also got a very good story, one of the most compelling in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise, and yes, while it does have a somewhat lukewarm 72 on Metacritic, I would say that's pretty underrated, and it is a game that I would highly recommend fans of old school Assassin's Creed, so pre-Origins. If you like those games, it's definitely worth a check out, and considering it's a Games with Gold title, now you can do so very easily. And lastly, as an original Xbox game, you will also get Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. This is an old school Star Wars game that is terrific. Now, there was a sequel also released, and that game was great as well. Would probably say that game was better. However, Jedi Academy was a great game in its own right, a third-person shooter, and it has a lot of different gameplay elements, combat, puzzles, and everything in between. And there was a multiplayer component as well, obviously. Now, in 2019, that's really not going to be the element of the game to go into, but the single player was quite good as well. And this is a game that everyone has really forgotten about. When you talk about the old Star Wars game, people will point towards KOTOR, people will point towards Battlefront, but hardly anyone really talks about Star Wars Jedi Knight, and this was a quality franchise as well. Would have loved to see a third game after Jedi Outcast. Unfortunately, that never came to fruition, but now you can go back and check out Jedi Academy. It's got a 76 on Metacritic. Would honestly say that's a little bit underrated as well. The PC version has an 81. So that's both services' offerings. Now, while I will say Games with Gold has a great lineup for the 360 games and the original Xbox title, the X1 games leave a lot to be desired. And on the PlayStation 4, you're getting 2 marquee games, and then you're getting 2 lower key titles that are interesting to round the lineup out. That's why I can easily say PlayStation Plus has the better end of the deal in February. Are the Games with Gold titles bad? No, I think Assassin's Creed Rogue is great. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is pretty good. It's just a relatively small experience, and Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy is fantastic. It's just that 360 game and Xbox game, they are older titles. On the PlayStation 4, you're getting those big budget games, and they're relatively recent releases, so I'm gonna have to side with them. But let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Maybe you thought the Games with Gold lineup was better. Maybe you're on my side and you think Plus has the better lineup. Whatever the case may be, sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Berserkers. Wild, free, and utterly wicked. Not because you die before killing your target, but because you'll notice so many temptations. And every time you successfully assassinate your target,
you will die as a traitor! Who are you to decide what city first?
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.